Viral Invasion is here. Soon it shall be doomsday for the digital world. The AVAULT store has been infected with the newest playmat. I have all the prices, and it is your chance to get virus level discounts before it is too late. Time is ticking, and all will be gone when the final countdown reaches 0.
Alright, welcome to the very first Diaboromon game of the BT17 format, and we're playing against Ancient Greymon, which is an incredibly explosive deck. But first, quick shout out, if you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to get your very own copy of the Viral Invasion Playmat on the AVAULT store right now. But let's quickly just get back into the game. Ancient Greymon is a very explosive deck, and generally it's a very difficult matchup for Diaboromon because it has a lot of removal tools, or mainly just one single removal tool before we're able to react. But I'm going to show you guys how to sort of play around it and how to get the perfect setup to sort of challenge against them and make it difficult for them. So when it comes to this whole idea, we want to try to build at the back as much as possible because we know they're going to go for a turn 2 Ancient Grey combo if they have all the pieces, and they can just remove anything that we have outside the board. So what I'm trying to look for are errata, my searching cards, memory boosts, trainings, and sort of build at the back, even if I have to forego some of my on play or sort of when digivolving effects, and try to be as patient as possible. We'll let them do their early chip damage. You guys can see they just took out 3 security out of nowhere very quickly. And then now we want to set up a board. They have a Takuya with 3 memory, so I'm trying to see how I can end in this board. I know that they're going to attempt to go into this combo all over again, so I'm going to play this Caramon. The brand new Caramon is actually really good at disrupting Digivolution. I know they don't have anything at the back just yet, so they can't really have all the memory to climb up and do all that crazy combos. This is the reason why I decided to push up, just because I felt like I have a second rookie, I want to cycle. My missing piece right now at the moment is to find a level 6, which is going to be really important for us. The other thing is what I'm trying to set up is also having the Kurosarimon that gives rush for later big turn combos. Now we want to cycle and draw as much as possible, like I mentioned, and here I finally found Diaboromon Ace, which is really good. Arguably speaking, from the previous turn, I could have popped the memory boost and set like another errata, putting them perfectly back to 3 to sort of utilize the memory gauge a bit more effectively and optimally and get my long-term value. And either way, I have to end on an Infirmon right here. I draw into the other Infirmon, which I kind of wish it was the one or the other. I wish I had the other one on the board, which is EX6, and then have the BT17 in my hand. But this is perfect because now we have 2 disruptions to actually play against them, and this is the main key sort of weakness or sort of advantage you got to play against Red Hybrid. Like I mentioned earlier, they only have one type of removal. Not one type of removal, as in like one instance of removal really per turn when they go up the combo line, unless if they go into the older Burning Gray here, but they go to the new one, go into Aguni, and then there, bang, warp into Ancient Grey. Effectively, they can pop one thing. They choose the Caramon because they don't want us to de-digivolve them, and then with this, as they're attacking at our counter timing, we can utilize the Diaboromon Ace. So if they got rid of one or the other, we're still able to disrupt them effectively. Now by de-digivolving the Ancient Grey, we have the opportunity to pop either the Aguni or the Flamemon, but I decided to go for the Flamemon because I know the Aguni is going to get deleted at the end of the turn, and the memory gauge is passed back to us anyways, and they can't even analog youth anymore because it's a level 4 Digimon. So this gives us a huge advantage and a huge comeback here, and really punishes them for playing a bit too aggressively. And now we get to control the board. Once we control that board, we have this opportunity of window to try and attempt to do as much damage as possible. Yes, we're down in 1 security, but we're gonna about to go for a huge comeback right here. So I'm contemplating, I know they have nothing in raising, they have nothing they can really play out, there's no tamers they can utilize here either, so we're gonna go into Infirmon first, and we are still kind of missing the other Diaboromon. I want to have another Diaboromon. It doesn't really matter which one, either whether the EX6 here, I decided to search in the end, which I find it, which is fantastic. But I just need a Diaboromon so then I can play erratas, utilize erratas to play more Diaboromon tokens, and I'm now gaining a ton of memory thanks to errata, and I can finally go into the EX6 one. EX6 one's gonna spawn one, and then with triple erratas, I'm gonna be spawning another 3 tokens, and guess what? All of them are gonna give me rush. I'm gaining a lot of value here. I'm drawing a ton of cards. With the other Kurosari that we have older as well, we can gain memory. So we're just gonna attack with the rush, which is the perfect way and showcasing how you win with Diaboromon. Alright, in this game, we're playing against Sakuyamon, which also got a whole new line of support in BT17, and this is gonna get really exciting. So looking at our opening hand, really fantastic. You know, we find ourselves a rookies and a couple of searching cards that we can utilize to sort of play. So I decided to keep it. Having Black Memory boost and training is always fantastic. And we're going second as well. So this is a perfect keep for sure. So here we're going to go and start finding our pieces. As per usual, we're just trying to climb up the line and sort of rack up inheritables and sort of get into Diaboromon when we can. So finding a 2, 3, 4, 5s as we go. And then we can continue to search and cycle through pieces and sort of play our boost at the same time. So here I'm gonna go deciding if I want to Digivolve into Kurosari at the back or just hard play this Keramon since they have a memory set Eureka anyways, and then we get to grab a couple pieces, which is great. Keramon being able to trash the searching sources that you don't grab is really fantastic because it helps you set up for errata very nicely moving forward, and that's just perfectly what the deck needed as well. And they decided to go push out with Kyuimon and decide to chip early with a jamming combo as well, giving us a little bit of value, which is really good. So now we can actually promote push up and sort of control their board back at the end since they have nothing in raising, and we can try to remove their stack overall, going into Neo Inframon, Digivolving, passing them perfectly back to 3, and just hard playing errata, which is always really crucial as Diaboromon. When you're playing Diaboromon deck, you always want to make sure you have access to it because it gives you the long-term value of constantly gaining a memory basically infinitely throughout the entire rest of the game, and it's gonna give you that perfect turbo when you go into Diaboromon to set up for more tokens. And this is exactly what I did here, right? I go for the errata, I play it first because I want to play more tokens, and I go into EX6 Diaboromon knowing I can continue to retain my turn as well by playing the tokens thanks to Kurosarimon Inheritable, which is always really good. If we're not getting rush, we're gaining memory. We're establishing as much advantage as we can against this deck. However, they can get really explosive and really crazy, and we're about to see that just in a moment as well. And that's one of the scary things with Sakuyamon. It's really combo heavy, it's got a lot of cool things it can do, and I'm deciding if I want to chip away at their security here. I don't want to give them value. I don't want to run into something that might, you know, maybe another Rika or whatever it is that they can go for an even more explosive play. But maybe in hindsight, I think maybe I should have just swung anyways because I had a hunch and anticipation that they were going to try and remove our entire stack somehow. Sakuyamon has a lot of DP reduction effects with their plugins and also the inheriteds and such, and they can rack up and get rid of Diaboromon very easily because at the end of the day, the Diaboromon from EX6 is only really just 11k. But we're going to end with the Keramon just to search for the other pieces because I know it's about to come. They're about to remove a bunch of our stuff and then getting rid of our stack so then we can actually find a piece to rebuild a second one if we really need to, because some crazy combos are about to come. They go into Talmon and then they get to use Digivolution plugin S to go into Sakuyamon effectively for free from that, and then Sakuyamon's going to DP reduce it. At the meantime, all of our Diaboromon also have jamming and blocker, so they can't just go ahead and attack us thinking that they can go for damage because we have a wall of defense right here to stop any attacks. So it definitely makes sense for them to find the best way to remove our Diaboro. But I'm not too worried because I thought of that earlier. I know I have a backup plan coming. You know, I still have a 5 to Digivolve into, and then I can find another 6 or get into another 6 and then sort of do a bit of a clapback. But yeah, it looks really scary here because they're using all these plugins effectively for free. With all these combinations, they're going into and searching, and they're still at 3 memory. So here comes the attack. The Talmon inheritable lets them play 1, reduce the cost by 2. Effectively, any 2 cost option is going to be free, and that's what this deck is all about. And here, we can't really block just yet, just because they're resolving all of their effects. But again, I have a really good idea about if they can come out. They can possibly go into like combos of Sakuyamon and then go into maid mode as well, and then maid mode switch into possibly the older Sakuyamon at the same time, and they could possibly do enough checks. So yeah, definitely a very combo heavy deck. Really cool to see as well, and yeah, at the same time, it's like a lot of thinking for sure. So they're going to continue to go into Talmon here, and then they basically get to continue to use the rest of their plugin cards, and then with all the rest of the inheritables, they basically minus the rest of DP by Diaboro, 6k from the Sakuya from BT17, and then all the inheritables gather all the way up to another 6k essentially. And here with plug in security attack 1 and jamming, triple checks, lots of value for them here in that one single hit. And honestly, if they go for another one, they can just easily possibly try to finish the game off. If they have another plugin S, they can go into the older Sakuyamon, unsuspend, and try to finish us off, which is really scary. We found it on Arada, but unfortunately looks like they couldn't find that last piece. So this is our opportunity to make a big clapback and comeback. Diaboromon is actually really good at comeback. If the opponent can't close the game well enough, we're going to get a lot of value. You guys can see how wide our board is. We actually have enough swings to go one by one, but my whole idea here is to swing a little bit. I want one token to survive the swing. 2 of my tokens are down already, but with 1 surviving, I know I can go for an online combo now, and to be playing it a little bit more safer, I'm just going to play the board control. Now, I know I apologize here. I completely forgot to pay the memory to digivolve into my Diaboromon Ace, which should be 3 costs. We should have 3 memory less, but that's totally fine because it doesn't really matter much. It doesn't change the game of the outcome of the game. We're gaining a ton of memory thanks to Kurosari anyways, and then we get to spawn a bunch of tokens. Unfortunately, we can't rush for them, but at least we can de-digivolve, pop a stack, and then also swing over one of their stacks as well, and then sort of get rid of the board clear. Knowing that they don't have maid mode Ace at the moment, so we can just go and attack, and then we can finish it off with Armageddemon Rush for Game. Okay, in this game, we're going to be playing up against All-Force with our Diaboromon right here. Now, All-Force has gotten certainly a little bit of support with the new promo Digimon, which we're going to see just in a bit, and we're going to see how that kind of improves it a little bit, or if the deck is still good. All-Force is always a strong deck. They have a lot of bouncing. They can actually potentially OTK us and threaten us out of there. So as Diaboromon, we want to be able to establish blockers if we can, but otherwise they're always going to be targeting our Diaboromon to bounce, which can be really tricky. It can be a race. The other alternative sort of win condition for us is to try to like go as wide as possible and then go for an all-out explosive turn if they're not able to. It's kind of like a all or nothing battle of whoever gets there first or whoever sees it first and find their pieces. But our goal is to try to control the board when we can, and we're going to try to sort of like find those cards such as this Diaboromon Ace to counter them if we need to, ending the board with a level 5 just to try to make them play around us. Just because they don't have unlimited bouncing, they can really only just bounce us once. So it looks like they're trying to set up some tamers here bit by bit, which can be pretty good for them to find their pieces and draw and continue to search for tamers as they go in with LV and such like that. We are just trying to set up as well at the same time. We kind of have a clear line that we can go into, and I'm just trying to see here at this moment that maybe we should just get rid of that LV. So going into defense training to digivolve into Infamon. Infamon's not going to be able to digivolve for free because we don't have a token, but that's totally fine. As long as we can retain turn, the Kurosari is going to give us memory back, which is really great. So then we can actually de-digivolve and attack over their stack and get rid of it firsthand and leaving the only rookie in the raising, and then we can just continue to set up and find our pieces to establish pressure over here from onwards and see what they can do. Of course, we want to try to again think about whether we want to attack into security, chip them or not, because potentially it can give them value. And I felt like, you know what, let's try and see, let's chip away bit by bit. And then we're just going to utilize the starter main to play as many tokens back as possible. Having Arada is going to be good, but at the moment we don't have any unidentified in our trash at the moment to sort of give us the memory that we need. So it seems like we're giving them a little bit of value. They have a lot of tamers on the board, which can be kind of scary, but that also tells me that with that so many tamers on their board, it means they don't have as many tamers in their hand that they can utilize also, which can be fine. So we're going to end up with an Izzy on the board because I felt like I want to start my memory at 3, but unfortunately flipping an Armageddon, which I believe is a white card. So yeah, the BT51, so we're not able to put them perfectly at 3, which is very dangerous because now they're going to have to go off explosive in this combo. They have to answer this board. They have to try and see what they can do, because the next turn we're just going to swing it all out and for sure we're going to get game. So they're going to go into the Digimon. Digimon's going to go into Arrow V for sure. Looks like they're going to try to climb up. So as they're going to climb up into this one, they're going to probably search for more tamers. Unfortunate whiff right there for them. right here we have one blocker Diaboro, but like I mentioned earlier, all they have to do is just go into this ult force, play out the arena, unsuspend, and then they can just bounce their Diaboro. With so many tamers, they can just easily bounce any level they want at this point. And by bouncing that Diaboro, we just lose our blocker capability and we just can't defend ourselves, which is really unfortunate. One thing that's really just kind of trying to save us is possibly some security bombs, which I play Catastrophe Cannon, but they're just going to go combo off and attack and attack and attack as much as they can here in this moment. So looking at how many tamers they can play off, they got, you know, triple arenas back to back essentially, which is really good for them. And if they're able to sort of play more tamers, again, another Davis, which is great, but bottom decking the other tamer right there, meaning they're probably losing a bit of gas, which tells me that looks like they want to stop their swing here because they no longer are able to play tamers. They can't evade if they run into our security, which might have a big Digimon in there, and they kind of get deleted themselves potentially. So it looks like they're trying to see what they want to do here, and we are still with 3 Diaboro tokens, which is enough swings to go for game, so I'm not too worried. And the other thing is I have a defense training, I have Black Memory Boost, and I have Izzy to work with. Just a lot of resources that I set up for myself, and Arata is live with extra memory now, and I can also play more tokens with it. So it looks like they went into Ult Force X to try to just control the board a little bit. And yeah, it looks like they just ran out of gas and they don't want to commit to fully attacking. But here, it was almost doomed for us, because if we weren't able to answer their board right there, we managed to top that into the Kurosari. That gives us the rush. That gives us the offensive that we need. So we're going to pop defense training to go into that Kurosari, of course. And I'm choosing between which Infernmon to get into. More likely the one that's going to be the one that can de-digivolve them into back into Ult Force and just slowly take them down a bit there. And then we're going to go into Diaboro. Now, of course, I'm choosing between whether I should go into the X6 one or the promo one, the Ace one right here. They do have a Biomon blocker, which we need to address. So by going into the Ace one probably makes most sense, because then I can play out multiple tokens. And then afterwards, I can de-digivolve as well further, and then pop basically either the Arrow V that's going to be underneath it, or the BO by de-digivolving. Of course, you know, by playing the token first, we also get to use Arata to play another token first. All of them is going to gain rush, essentially, at this point, popping the blocker for sure. And then we're just going to utilize this to swing out for game. Looks like they have arena in there and try to attack, and yeah, we got it right here. Don't forget to grab your very own copy of the Viral Invasion Playmat on the AVAULT store right now. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you in the next video, and this is AVAULT signing out.